Hi, this is Belinda Colubriale, and this is Talking High Performance with Belle. So I'm making this podcast for people who want to live their best life, people who know that there's more in them, but they just don't know how to get it. So there's a gap, something's missing, I'm making it for them. Welcome back to another episode of Talking High Performance with Belle, and welcome to Feb. And Feb is goal setting month. It's all about how do we strategically set goals so that we can achieve more over the long term and have that lasting success. Before we start and get into the nitty gritty, I want to share with you a story about one of my clients called Sarah. When I first started working with Sarah, she's a business owner and she was facing a common challenge that many business owners and leaders face, and that's the challenge of overwhelm. So she had these big goals and big visions, which were really exciting visions, and I couldn't wait to work with her. But her to-do list just seemed never ending, and she felt really trapped in the day-to-day operations of her business. The things that she had to do just to keep the business running, but it was also taking away from her creativity and stopping her from really moving forward. And she began to forget to realize why she was even doing this business in the first place. So why did she leave her full-time job? And it was because she loved the work that she was doing now, but she wasn't doing the work that she loved because as she was growing, there was more admin and things that she needed to do. So through working together, we began to navigate through her list of priorities, starting with her bigger goals and really breaking them down into manageable tasks. And a big part of this process was talking about what are tasks that she could do herself, what are tasks that other people couldn't do, but what are tasks that she could also delegate that were important, but not important enough for her to do. And we began to build a list. And initially, Sarah wasn't sure if she wanted to make an investment into getting someone else on board part-time because she couldn't justify the spending. Because at that time, she was making good money, but not enough to justify a part-time employee. So we spoke through that and spoke about, okay, what can you do if you had somebody doing a few hours a week for you? And what can you do if you don't have somebody working for you? What can you achieve? Can you get to these big goals if you don't make small tweaks along the way? And the answer was no, she couldn't. So she put on someone and she decided to hire an assistant. And it was a really strategic move that initially cost her money in the way of wages, but saved her so much time and mental energy. And she found that she was no longer stuck in the day-to-day, in the things that she didn't need to be doing. And she could focus on big picture goals. She could focus on, getting back that love for the business and really working on things that would inspire her, motivate her, and move her forward faster. And a couple of things we discussed help her to get really clear on this. And the first thing was, where was she now? And where did she want to be? As in, was the way she was working now going to get her to that larger goal? And the answer was no. That was the first thing. The second thing was, what was she working on that was moving her forward? She found that she was so stuck in the day-to-day that it hindered her big picture thinking. It hindered her creativity. And she was working too much in the business as opposed to on the business. So she needed to identify what was she working on that was moving her forward. And there wasn't a lot when we began working together. And the third thing is, what did she need to focus on in her life outside of work that would bring her greater success? So if she looked at her life from a holistic point of view, what did she need to bring in? Was it more fun with her friends? Was it more time with her children that would allow her a different way of thinking and allow her that freedom to go, you know what, this is why I began this business in the first place, because it gives me so many more options that I had before when I was working in the corporate world. So if Sarah's story resonates with you, this podcast is all about achieving more and mastering more on that path to success. And I want to share with you 4 ways that you in your own life can begin to master the art of achieving more in order to get you closer to your goals in 2024 and also beyond. And these are some strategies that Sarah and I worked through together that she's still got in place today that are really helping to move her forward and make sure that she's aligned and on that right track. And the first one is morning visualization. So it's really hard to master your day if you don't visualize what you want from it. So sure, we visualize what we want from our lives and we set goals to work towards that. But what do you want from your day? What's the end outcome? And as a leader or a business owner, this is really important to spend the first part of your day going, what do I need to focus on? Even to the point of, how do you want to feel? Do you want to be energized at the end of the day? Do you want to feel fulfilled? Do you want to be productive? How do you want to feel, and how do you want your day to play out? And that's even before you dive into the hustle of the day-to-day. Most people go in thinking that, today is so busy, I just have to get through it, instead of going, okay, what can I tackle today that's going to get me closer to my goals? How much can I achieve by 12 p.m.? And sort of flipping that and making it a more positive mindset and seeing what you can achieve in that way. If you were more focused, if you loved what you were doing, if you were delegating where you can, what could you achieve? So the morning visualization, thinking about how do I want my day to play out, is really important. And that's the first way. The second way is power through prioritizing. What are your top 3 priorities for the day? The tasks that align you closer to your big goals that will help you to be inspired as you move closer to them. So focus on the high impact activities. And all of a sudden, when you do that, the menial tasks that you may have been focusing on don't seem that important. And in Sarah's case, the tasks that needed to be done but didn't need to be done by her, this became really clear that when she goes, okay, I need to prioritize my time and do this, which means I don't need to do A, B, and C. I'm going to give them to my assistant. So it's really important. And even here, getting down to, okay, do I really need to be focusing on this task? Yes or no? Do I even need to be doing it at all? And eliminating it from your list. Really important. So prioritizing and having power through prioritizing is a game changer. Third one is what I call micro goals magic. So by now you've visualized and you know what area you need to focus on to move you forward. Then it's breaking down that macro goal into micro steps. So into bite-sized tasks that really feel manageable to you. So you can break this down into hours or days or weeks, whatever the deadline is to get that done. And this is like a little checklist that I use with a lot of my clients, where we work through, okay, what are you working on? What needs to be done by what date? And checking in on that constantly and tweaking that if that needs to be done. So working, okay, what is my macro goal and what are the micro steps under that? Point 3. And then finally is doing a daily check-in or a wrap-up. So it's the end of the day. How far did you get? Did you achieve what you wanted to achieve? What worked well? If one of your goals was to be energized at the end of the day and you're feeling exhausted, what can you do better tomorrow or the next day? Were there patterns throughout the day that didn't go to plan? And is this something that happens quite often? Maybe you allow 1 hour for a task that takes 2. Maybe you always talk to Jane and help her with her priorities to the detriment of yours. So what's actually working well, but also what needs to be tweaked? So reflecting on the day's wins and also areas for improvement is really, really important. So as we wrap up today's session, I hope you found valuable insights into how you can master your goals, starting with the morning visualization in order to help you reach lasting success. So visualization, then prioritizing, what do I need to do? Then working out, okay, what are the bite-sized pieces that need to come from that? And checking in at the end of the day going, okay, how did today go? What worked well? What can I do better? So these points are tried and trusted strategies that have made a real impact and a difference in my client Sarah's life and many clients that I've worked with, as well as my own life. I use them day in and day out. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. And as always, keep chasing those dreams and achieving more if that's something that you're passionate about. Stay tuned as well, because next week I'm going to be talking about how to set goals that stick, which is the perfect follow-on from this episode. So until then, live a successful, purposeful, and fully charged life. Your coach, Belle.